everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all well and welcome to my film and TV channel. And today we have a movie review, and it's a thriller drama directed by Yuval Adler and also from a screenplay by Mr. Adler and Ryan Covington. And the film we're going to look at today is called The Secrets We Keep. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button. Push the bell notifications and make sure they're set to public so you get to hear about these vlogs when they come out. And if you do like them, please, thumbs up are always fantastic. So you know, it's nice to get comments as well. Any comments you can make if you get to see this or anything I've said. But if you haven't got time to make a comment, if you can give us a thumbs up, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Right, The Secrets We Keep. 97 minutes. 97 minutes with the credits. I've calculated about a 90-minute run time, which is okay, isn't it? You know me. So a lot of films, I think they can do a lot. You know, edit them down and take 15-20 minutes off. But this seems okay at 90 minutes. It stars Noomi Rapace, Joel Kinnaman, and Chris Messina. And what's it about? Well, in post-World War II America, a woman played by Rapace is rebuilding her life in the suburbs with her husband, played by Messina. She kidnaps her neighbour, Kinnaman, and seeks vengeance for the heinous war crimes she believes he committed against her. Yeah, very gritty, very powerful. Rotten Tomatoes, 64%, that's not bad. 64% positivity rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so they like it. 30 fresh and 17 rotten ratings. Based on 47 critics, so that's not too bad, is it? An average rating just under 6, so the average rating, so obviously it was sort of the lower level with the score, so it's getting a 5.93 out of 10 overall, which is just below our watchable 6 rating, isn't it? The site's critical consensus reads, The Secrets We Keep handles its more serious themes indelicately, but manages to offer some entertaining, albeit implausible, B-movie thrills. So we're in B-movie territory with this one, are we? Rotten Tomatoes audience, yeah, they weren't overly impressed. 37 people have bothered to leave a score or review and scored it at 49% positivity, not great. Metacritics aren't as impressed, not quite as impressed as Rotten Tomatoes. Anyway, it's got a weighted average score of 46 out of 100. That's based on their critics, and it scores anywhere from 2.5 out of 10, which is pretty abysmal, to 7.8 out of 10. Just have a look at some of the scores. RogerEbert.com, Glenn Kenny from RogerEbert.com, he only gave it 2.5 out of 10, not very kind, and he wrote, while I rather doubt that co-writer-director Yuval Adler pitched his new picture as Death and the Maiden meets Leave It to Beaver, that sure is what he ended up with, conceptually at least. Well, there you go, if you see either of those two, I think that's a very fair comparison, to be honest with you. The Austin Chronicle likes it though, they gave it 7 out of 10. With a small cast and a handful of locations, the only other character of note is Rachel Simetz, Thomas's unsuspecting wife. The Secrets We Keep blends the best of B-movie thrillers and black box theatre. And a bit middle of the road one, Variety's Dennis Harvey gave it 6 out of 10 and wrote, this Death and the Maiden, yeah, that's rearing its ugly head again. Like suspense drama, it's neither fully convincing nor particularly original. Its narrative running a course that feels somewhat predictable from the outset, but it's still strong enough to be effective. So not a total downer on it then. What about Joe Public, about you and me? We've had over 600 reviews on Internet Movie Database as I'm recording this, and it's scoring 5.4 out of 10 again, so a little bit below that 6 mark. That's based on 605. Some of the negatives, we've got a comment, well here it is again, watch Death and the Maiden instead. The worst sin of The Secrets We Keep is not that it so blatantly and flagrantly rips off Ariel Dorfman's play and subsequent movie Death and the Maiden, although if the Chilean author wanted to sue for a credit, he's certainly got a case. A very generic substance without a twist. There you go. So there's no positives, absolutely no positive reviews left as such on Internet Movie Database, but it's getting a score over 5, so there must have been some positives. What about my thoughts on this MGM thoughts? Well, I mean, there's not much love out there, is there, for this movie? I've just had a quick look on Internet Movie Database, actually, to see what score Death and the Maiden had actually got, and it got 7.3 out of 10. That's its overall rating. So obviously that is mentioned time and time again, not just in the reviews I've just read out there, but obviously in other reviews I've looked at as well. But one thing that had was obviously it had the advantage of Kingsley and Sigourney Weaver, didn't it? So there you go. If you're not familiar with Death and the Maiden, it might be worth you watching that, as someone suggested. I do like Noomi Rapace. I think she's okay. She does an okay job. And I'll be honest with you, it's 25 years since I've watched Death and the Maiden. It's not a film I've gone back and watched again. But as my memory is a little bit dull, I did watch this with great interest to see what it was like. And obviously, well, my faded memories of Death and the Maiden had it down as a little bit slow, to be honest with you. So this was perhaps no faster pace than Death and the Maiden. And I think that was sort of saved by being just ordinary by the two lead actors, in all fairness. I'll say I've not gone back and watched it again. This gets to the nitty-gritty quite quickly, which is good. There's no big, long, slow build-up. I mean, obviously, it's very quickly gets to the meat of the subject. Then, unfortunately, as a result of that, it has to fill in the rest of the time, doesn't it? It has to fill in the rest of the 90 minutes or so. And there isn't just quite enough suspense in it to cover that. There's no real jeopardy as such, bits and pieces, but nothing great. And no real twists in the plot either, so it's hard to keep really invested for the 70 minutes or so that the film has after the actual kidnap, and it actually gets to the nitty-gritty of it all. It tries, and there's enough potential to fill the time, but it never quite works in its execution. I mean, there's a little off stories and subplots that are there, but it doesn't quite hold it all together. And the chemistry as well. The chemistry between Rapace and Messina as husband and wife isn't there from the beginning. So obviously, as the film goes on, you don't quite link in with them and how they're feeling, because they're not quite together at the start. And this you're not really convinced about the on-screen trials and tribulations, because the marriage doesn't look perfect anyway. So it's not putting any extra pressure on the marriage. I know that sounds daft when you've got a kidnapped man in your garage or wherever it was, but it never really builds up the tension. So what could be a powerful ending just ends up, even though it is a very dark ending, it ends up a little bit dull and anticlimactic, even though it shouldn't be. If you read it on a piece of paper, you'd think, oh yeah, that's a good ending, but it just all ends very, very bland ending, very, very anticlimactic, even though it shouldn't be. As for the apparent nasty, or is he or isn't he, that's the whole point of the film, Joel Kinnaman, he never elicits any sort of sadness or hate, depending if you believe he's the instigator of these so-called war crimes or not. I mean, what this perhaps really needed was Ben Kingsley, who obviously, if I remember rightly, played that role really, really well. I mean, it's not a total write-off, but it does make me want to now go back and watch the original Death and the Maiden some 25 years later. So this could be a good thing. It might not be, but whether that's good for this film and means it's a good film, I don't think so. I think the Internet Movie Database rating is close enough, 5.4. And I'm going to do my sitting on the fence here, because if you've not seen Death and the Maiden, it is, as it is, and someone said before, a B-movie standard. It's not a bad film as B movies go. It's certainly not a big budget feel to the film. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to do my sitting on the fence score with this, my little Bernard's rating. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. So I won't put you off watching it. And of course, I'm going to go back now at some stage and have a quick look at Death and the Maiden again, see if it warranted the 7.3 out of 10. But I'm only going to give this 5.5 out of 10. The poster, I like the poster actually. I think the poster's pretty good. The characters, and obviously it shows you the elements in the poster. It is on the tin what's in the box, isn't it? I mean, everything's in there on that image, really. That is basically the most of the film. So I'm going to give the poster victory today. I'm going to give the poster 6 out of 10 marks. I think that's an okay poster, and it's certainly a little bit better than the film. So I'm going to give the film 5.5 out of 10 and the poster 6 out of 10. So just let me know if you get to watch this. Just let me know. As I say, it's okay. I'm not going to give it a total downer, but I think potential was there for it to be a little bit better, but perhaps it didn't have the acting or the actual script to make it that little bit better, and it could have had a few tweaks to it. Perfect length. I think the length was perfect. As I said, the only problem is we did get perhaps a little bit more time getting to the nitty gritty, and then it perhaps wouldn't have felt as long then after that. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, please check my links on screen. If you follow or friend me on Facebook and Twitter, I do check every couple of days and follow and friend you back on there. If you're after new followers and friends, I put lots of stuff on there to do with movies and TV dramas, etc. And also, if you check my playlist, you'll see I do vlogs on my football team as well, Manchester City. So if you or anyone you know might be interested in that, please point them in my direction. That'll be absolutely wonderful. And please, if you can check my website out, my little day job, when I try and earn a few quid, please check out moviegamenostalgia.com for old rare DVDs, movie posters from the 90s and 2000s. I don't have Death and the Maiden, unfortunately, and some board games on there as well. So that'll be absolutely fantastic if you can do that for me. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Whatever you're going to do with the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your family. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Until we meet again, Buddha saying goodbye for now. Please stay safe, everyone.